in the class like I told you. So good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Samah, and this is EL112, and we're doing theme 5 today. We're actually carrying over what we have taken before. Theme 5, like all the other themes, is big and it has interesting issues. If you can hear me well, please type okay, so Lena is saying that the voice is too low. Is it still too low? Hmm. Hmm. Is it still too low? Yeah, Lena. No, you can hear me well now, right? Okay, good. Let me go to the slides and let me use the slides and also guess it's always like this whenever I start. Okay, wait. Where can I access the window? Yeah, I think, to do that. No, it should be collaboration. And then, so it's clear to Sumaya. Okay, here we go. Okay, Bismillah. So theme 5, everyone, and we're continuing what we have started over the the past few days. Theme 5, and theme 5, if you still remember, is about customs, their origins and effects. And what goes under customs, we spoke about cultural diversity. Last time we started one of those cultural diversity facets, which was wedding customs in different cultures, and we spoke about the idea that interestingly enough, we come from different backgrounds, from different cultures, and this makes it very culturally meaningful. We all relate to what is being said about cultural diversity in this theme. I gave you the example of where I live. I live in Jeddah, and Jeddah is such a culturally diverse city. I live in a building where I have different nationalities. I am from Egypt myself. I have my neighbor, my next door neighbor is Syrian, and the neighbor above happens to be Tunisian, and the neighbor under happens to be Indian. That's such a culturally diverse place. And this is, like I said, is very good because it gives you, it teaches you lessons that you would have never learned if you were put in a different environment. It teaches you tolerance, it teaches you coexistence, it teaches you to keep an open mind and an open heart, right? Let's move on. Spoke about open days, if you still remember, and an open day is a free access day. You can have free access to a university that you're not part of, so that you can get to know about their programs. And if you're not in a university yet, you might consider joining them in one of the disciplines. Remember, we spoke about disciplines, and we said that disciplines are um, study areas. If you're business, your discipline would be business. If you're IT or computer studies, this is another discipline. If you're doing English literature, this is a discipline too, right? We also spoke about maps and how to read maps and the importance of knowing how to read a map for their obvious benefits. We spoke about the benefits of maps, and people spoke about locations and finding places, right? There is obviously more to map reading than just that, but that's fine. Okay, I've given you the names of very famous people in history. We spoke about Christopher Columbus, we spoke about Herodotus, and our very own Ibn Khaldun, who happens to be from Tunisia, and he is a very famous scholar when it comes to sociology. People say that he is the founder of sociology. Anyway, we left that part, or we finished that part, and then we moved on and we spoke about adjective endings, spoke about suffixes, and we said that suffixes are language phenomena and language, um, you know, language phenomena that are meant to help you enhance and add to your stock of vocabulary. And like I said, the trick would be that you don't have to keep or remember every single word whenever you meet it. You can simply, you don't have to remember its different parts of speech. But if I know act, I can always make the transition to actor and actress and acting. Okay, but it's only one word that I need to know, which is act. But this is the beauty of suffixes, and suffixes come at the end of words. You also have prefixes, and prefixes come at the beginning of words. We're focusing our energies in the theme on suffixes, as you can see. We spoke about using ings and eds. We spoke about using the word full. Spoke about er and or and less and ship in friendship, for example. These are all examples of suffixes. And then we moved on to something equally interesting, which was the idea of note-taking, taking notes in class, and how important this practice is. We agreed on the fact that our memories, all of us as human beings, our memories are very short. You cannot remember and retain every single information, every single piece of information you hear in class. So in this case, you need to take down notes. You need to be able to take down notes. Most of us do it without knowing that it's very important. Depending on what kind of notes you're taking, you will choose one of the different note-taking techniques and styles. We spoke about those different styles the other day. We spoke about tree diagrams, tables, timelines, flowcharts, and spidergrams. And we said if your teacher is giving comparisons, you are likely to use the table technique in note taking. If your tutor is engaged in is giving you a number of events and is giving them dates, you are going to use the timeline technique. If your teacher is engaged in a process and is giving at the end, if your teacher is like I said, is engaged in giving you how to do stuff and is giving you stages and steps, you might use the spidergram technique. Again, if it's about classification, then it's going to be the tree diagram technique. We did that, spoke about that, and then we moved on and we spoke about adding extra information. And normally you add extra information either to the subject of the sentence or the object of the sentence. We spoke enough about adding extra information to the object. And yesterday we spoke about adding extra information to the subject using the relative clauses, using clauses or sentences that start with a relative pronoun. And what are the relative pronouns, if you still remember? They are who, which, where, whose, and when. Remember that? I'm sure you still remember. And then before we left, we started the speaking part, and the speaking part is very interesting because it is very relatable. It is part of everyone's culture, the idea of wedding and having and the wedding customs that that is part and parcel of any culture. And I think I made some kind of a verbal survey as how you do stuff when there is a wedding, and we spoke specifically about the idea of offering or giving gifts. And most of you, irrespective of where you come from, agreed on one common practice, which is giving money to the couple in order to help them. I mean, help them choose for themselves. You might be giving them something that they already have. That's why the idea of giving money comes in as very useful, right? We are done with that part. And the very last part that we stopped on was the idea of making suggestions, if you still remember, how people go about making suggestions. And we said that shall we can be one of those phrases that people use. Shall we go out? Shall we take a break? Okay. Sumaya is saying that we can use perhaps. Perhaps you should do that. Perhaps you could do that. And we also said that you can be indirect by saying, if I were in your shoes, I would do this and that. This is also a way of suggesting to somebody what he or she should do in an indirect way. Good. Okay, so what we have here, okay, this is obviously 144, and we're doing the second part. So it's skill check 1 on 144. It says checking, explaining, and asking to wait. Okay, so if you don't understand something, check. If listeners check something, explain, but if listeners interrupt, you ask them to wait. So this is talking from the perspective of whom? This is talking from the perspective of a speaker or a presenter. So you're presenting something, okay, and people might not understand something that you're saying. In this case, you're going they are going to check, and you are going to try to explain. And if there is interruption, you will ask the one who asks to just wait. Okay, so how does it go whether you are the presenter or the receiver of the presentation? It goes this way. So you start with checking, explaining, and asking to wait. So, and we have examples. Checking, sorry, I don't understand. I'm not sure what you mean. That this is if you're receiving the presentation. And then the other guy is going to say, what I mean is, what I'm trying to say is explaining, of course. Sometimes if there is interruption, in this case, he might ask you to wait, like I do, for example. I give a presentation every time I come to class, and sometimes you check something because you don't understand it. and I try to explain it. But if I see interruption, I can ask you to wait until I finish my line of thought, and then I come back and explain what you don't understand. So asking to wait, can I deal with that in a different while or in a little while? I'm just coming to that. These are expressions that people like me as presenters might use, okay, so that he or she can continue what he or she is saying, and then he or she can come back to the point that you're asking. So it's about regulating the class. Otherwise, if the class is not regulated, so everybody is going to speak in one voice, and instead of having thoughts and ideas and clear sentences, you would end up having noise, which of course, which is obviously something that we don't want, right? Okay. So what I want you to do now is I would like you to go to B, and what we have in B, identifying a new skill. So read skill check 1, which we already did. Mark the phrases below and add C if you're checking, if the sentence indicates checking, E if it indicates explaining, and A if it indicates asking to it. Yalla, go ahead. Exercise B, we have A through H. Yalla, go ahead. Let me see how I can have that. It's always like this. Yeah, okay. Can you do that? I'll give you 2 minutes for that. Yalla, go ahead. Let me know when you have finished, huh? Okay, so Huda gather is done. How about the rest? It's an easy exercise, by the way. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so could I answer questions at the end? This is what. Yeah, tell me the word, okay? Tell me the word. So could I answer questions at the end? This is what we don't have asking to wait. You say asking to wait. So asking to wait. Okay, so could I answer questions at the end? This is asking to wait, right? I don't get your point. You have a problem. Everybody can hear me, obviously. Go out and come back, ya Ahmed. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I was raising this, yeah, the mic. Yeah, I'm sorry. Huh? Okay, let's go back to them. So could I answer questions at the end? This is asking to wait. Okay, the second one, I don't get your point. This is what? This is checking. Tell me checking. Because tell, give me the word. Especially it's a word, right? My point is, my point is 144 يا ابتهال. 144. Okay, my point is explaining. Okay, it's still not clear to me. it is still not clear to me. So this is obviously checking. I'll explain that in a minute. Asking to wait. Okay, I'll explain a bit more. This is explaining. I'll explain a bit more. This is explaining. That doesn't make sense to me. That checking, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. This is checking. What I meant was, I'm sorry, this is explaining. Okay? Is it clear, everyone? Okay, good. That's an interesting exercise. And it works both ways. It works for the presenter and it also works for the one who hears or receives the information. Okay, so what do we have on the opposite page? 145. 145, everyone. So when people talk about um, their past, when they talk about their past beliefs, habits, and customs. Okay? So where are we now? We are in the past. Okay, where are you? You are in a point in the present and you're talking about a point in the past. If we're talking about habits and things that we did in the past but we don't do anymore, we normally use the expression used to, right? Um, in the past, if in the past I was smoking, I mean it was one of my habits. Smoking was one of my habits, and I stopped smoking. I'm going to use I used to. So I used to smoke. It's as simple as that. I used to smoke, right? So what do people understand when we say I used to smoke? They understand that at one point in the past I was a smoker, but I don't smoke anymore. Okay? What else did I used to do in the past? Let me remember. I used to go to the gym. What do you understand from this? I used to go to the gym. Do you understand that I still go to the gym? No, right? You don't go. I don't go anymore, unfortunately. Okay. Okay. I don't know whether you have seen me, but in the past, I used to have, this is interesting. I used to have hair in my head. So what do you understand from this? You understand that I don't have hair anymore. I'm bald, right? Are you familiar with this adjective? Yes. Okay. Yes, this is interesting. I also used to be fat. Okay, what do you understand from this? Am I fat now? No. No, not really, not thin, but for diabetes reasons, I'm not fat anymore. I'm, average. Okay, so let's talk about you. I mean, give me things that you used to do in the past, but you don't do anymore. You don't have to. You don't have to be too personal. I mean, it's going to the gym, hanging out with friends, and stuff like that. Yeah, go ahead. Interesting. Ahmed Sameh is saying he used to play squash. What do we understand? We understand that Ahmed Sameh doesn't play squash anymore. Lina Amr, I used to go to university. And you don't go to university anymore? I mean, okay. We're talking normally, Lina, we talk about habits. I mean, we're not talking about a temporary situation that we are in now. Okay? Ah, yes. Magid is saying that he used to drink coffee, which means that he doesn't drink coffee anymore. Abdullah Al Afif is saying that he used to go to the gym, which means that he doesn't go anymore. Al Anud says, I used to walk in the park, which means that she doesn't, Al Anud does not walk in the park anymore. That's interesting. Good, 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 good. Okay. Did you notice what happens to the verb that comes after used to? What form is it in? We have three standard forms. We have the base form, we have the ing form, and we have the ed form. Yes, we call it infinitive, right? And we're going to call it infinitive minus 2. It has two. It has two. No. We're going to call it infinite. We're going to call it the base form. Base form means that you don't add s, ed, or ing. يعني I used to go home. مش مفهوم يعني. That's a very strange example يا سعيد. No, this is not where used to is used in يا سعيد. Okay, anyway. And structurally Said's sentence makes sense, but from the point of view of meaning, it makes little sense, if any, right? Anyway, what happens if we talk about a habit that started with you in the past, but you still do it? Let me talk about myself. And in this case, you're going to use two structures. You either use the present simple structure or the used to structure that I'm going to share with you. What do you understand from this sentence? I get up early. What do you think of this sentence? Is this sentence about the past? No, forget about whether it's a fact. That's not a fact. Let's not give it big names. So I get up early. It's something that refer to the past and refer to the present, and it may refer to the future, right? So this is present simple, where we talk about the past and the present and perhaps the future. What do you understand when I say I go to the gym? So I go to the gym is yesterday and today and maybe tomorrow, right? Okay. So as you can see, present simple cuts across the three different time zones that we may have: past, present, and perhaps the future. Okay. طيب. I can also say, remember the example about which says I get up early. I can also say I am used to getting up early. So it's quite mouthful. I'm used to getting up early. So if you're going to explain it, I'm going to use I'm sorry, I'm getting used I'm sorry, getting the. What did I say? I'm sorry, يا جماعة. It said, yes. I'm used to getting up early. If I am going to explain it, I'm going to say that I get up early, which and people will understand that's yesterday and today and perhaps tomorrow. It's a habit of mine, right? طيب. Um, how about that? I speak, let me give you this example. I'm not done yet. I speak English in class. I speak English in class. What do you understand? Is it yesterday only? Is it today only? Is it tomorrow only? Or all of them? Now, yesterday and today. Oh, always, always. Yeah, absolutely. So I can also say I am used to speaking English in class. But this is, of course, is the slow version. Nobody says that. I am used to speaking English in class, which means I speak English in class yesterday and today and tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's a habit of mine, yes. Okay. So what did you notice? What did you notice? I mean, I'm talking about the difference between I used to go to the gym and I am used to getting up early, for example. If you're talking about habits that started with you in the past and you still do them, okay, before used to, you're going to use am, is, or are. And after the two of used to, you're going to use ing. Does it make sense? Can we add in the verb? I'm not sure I understand. Yes, Sumaya. Okay. I said, I excuse me. What one basic difference between used to and verb to be used to in terms of meaning is the following. Just wait. Hold on, ya جماعة. Hold on. In terms of meaning, what's the difference between used to and verb to be used to plus ing? In terms of meaning, used to means that it's a habit that is now broken. You don't do it anymore. Okay, and you have the verb in the base form after to. Okay, with am, is, are, used to plus ing, we're talking about a habit that started in the past and you are still keen on doing it. You still do it. So what happens? You have am, is, are. Used to, the verb has to be in the ing after it. Okay? Does this make sense? Okay. We also have get used to. So getting used to, 144, 145. Get used to. So getting used to means that you're adjusting to new circumstances. Okay? You get used to nowadays, for example, you might be wait I mean you're up all night and you sleep all day, for example. So you're not used to this. You're not used to this. You're going to say, I am getting used to sleeping um, during the day. So getting used to is about adjusting to new circumstances. So I'm getting used to sleeping during the day, which means that you never did it. You never slept during the day, but you're getting used to it. Okay? So with get used to, as you can see, you also use ing. Okay? Okay. Right. Let's move on. Let me wear my glasses. Where are they? Just give me a second. Okay. Right. So let's look at the examples. Let's go all the way to 145 and see what will come out. So let's look at skill check 2 and then make the transition to the exercises. So talking about past beliefs, habits, and customs, we can talk about some items in the past with use plus infinitive. And what he means by infinitive, he means to plus the verb in the base form. So it was regular or common in the past. It's not regular or common now. I mean, he's explaining it. He says it's about something that was common and regular. You used to do it on a regular basis, but you don't do it anymore. And we have examples. People used to believe in evil spirits. What do you understand from this sentence when I say that people used to believe in evil spirits? Do they believe in evil spirits anymore? From the example, they don't anymore. Absolutely, they don't. This is what the sentence is saying, right? I used to watch TV every evening. What do you understand from this sentence? I used to watch TV every evening. Yeah, he doesn't anymore, right? He doesn't watch TV in the evening anymore. I mean, every evening anymore. The ancient Egyptians used to bury their pharaohs in pyramids. Is that happening anymore? The ancient Egyptians used to bury their... No, because we simply don't have ancient Egyptians anymore, right? Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I mean, he's telling us you don't pronounce the da. There is no da in used to. You don't say used. No, no. It's you. I mean, you act as if D does not exist. Is that clear? So it's used to. You act as if it doesn't exist. Okay. So what happens if you're checking whether somebody used to do something in the past or not? So you're going to say, did you used to do this? Did you used to get up early? And he would say yes or no. Did you used to practice? So you're going to use did, but when you go to the verb, it's going to be base form, right? Okay. If we're talking about something that you didn't do in the past, it wasn't a habit of yours, you're going to say I didn't used to, and the verb has to be in the infinitive. So you're going, if I ask you, I'm going to say, did you used to go to the gym? I would like you to look to the verb use. It doesn't have D, right? Because of the did thing. If you have did, you don't use ed, right? The same applies to a negative. When I say I didn't used to eat much. I'm sorry, there is a mistake that I committed. Can you see the mistake? That there shouldn't be a D. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Correct. Very good. Nice. Okay, let's move somewhere else. We have a number of vocab items. Can you see them? Why don't you understand the hell? It's simple. Used to. You talk about something that you used to do in the past, but you don't do anymore. In this case, you're going to say used to. It's as simple as this. There is no two ways about it. It's as simple as this يا ابتهال. Okay? So this is in the past. You're talking about something that is exclusively in the past. Something that you don't do anymore. In this case, you're going to use used to. بس. See? Perhaps I over explain stuff. That's why people get confused. I'm not going to do it anymore. Anyway, let's go somewhere else. So vocabulary box where we have words like believe, clear, cluster, deal with, make sense, spirit, tradition, and would. Do you have any issues with any of these words? This is 145, everyone. 145. Cluster likes, yeah, a set of things, a group of things, yes. To cluster things together is to put them in a group. Yes, absolutely. Spirit is spirit. Now, how can I explain spirit? Spirit is a spirit, يا ابتهال. How can I explain spirit? Spirit is, these are creatures that we don't see. We read about and we have to believe in them because we're religious and we're Muslims. Yes. Ahmed Sameh is asking a very intelligent question about wood. Can I use would instead of used to? Yes, but they are not interchangeable, mind you, in the sense that we normally use would whenever we tell stories in the past. Whenever we're I don't know what's happening with me. Let me drink some water. Okay. Okay. So let's go back to would and used to. So Ahmad's question was whether used to and would are interchangeable. I can use would for used to. Not really, but they mean almost the same thing. We use would whenever we have, you're relating a number of events and you will have to use used to. In this case, this is not acceptable. Languages are not about repetition because repetition is boring. That's why you sometimes are allowed to use would instead of used to. Okay? So if you have a number of situations where you have to use used to for the sake of, in order to avoid and steer away from boredom and being boring, in this case you would use would. Okay? Does this make sense? It should. Okay, let's move. So what we have here, Actually, there is a talk about wood, different uses of wood. Okay. I would like to get a new car. Would you lend me your pen for a minute? I would spend all my spare time playing video games. Three sentences and three woods. And each wood has a different meaning, obviously, right? So let's look at them. So I would like to get a new car. Would here means what? I would like, yeah, yes, we're focusing on would not, rather than like. Yeah, it's a part of a combination of words where you have would, uh, and it makes something, um, um, and it takes off its what can I call it? Its universality and its uh, permanence. Let me give you an example. When I say I like horses, I like horses, it means that I like all horses and all times, at all times, right? Okay, but when I say I would like this horse, it means I want it now. So would give the sentence, yeah, and it's about promptness, it's about uh, things that you would like to see happening now. When I say I love meeting with them, and I would love to meet them. I would love means I want. So I like means I like, I love. Like I would like means that I want something or I need something now. Okay, this is the first one. So would you lend me your pen for a minute? So would here means what? Or indicates what? Then obviously it doesn't work alone. Would you lend me? This is what? This is a request, right? And it's a polite one. It's a polite request. Yes, absolutely. Okay, how about the third one? I would spend all my spare time playing video games. When? When I say I would spend all my spare time playing video games, this is when. This is in the past. Absolutely, this is in the past. This is what Ahmad was referring to. Can I use used to instead of it? Yes, you can. Which mean if you're going to read it, you're going to say, I used to spend all my spare time playing video games. Does it make sense? Okay. So it's the same word, but we have three different meanings. So as you know, this is skill check 3, by the way. As you know, we can use would for polite questions and for wishes. We can also use would to talk about habits and routines when it was regular or common in the past, like used to. Excuse me, when it isn't regular or common now. When the speaker has a strong feeling about it, happiness, anger. When you talk about those happy old days, I'm talking about us. And when my father was around, then I would say I would engage in nostalgia and go back to 20 or 30 years back when my father would read to me, for example. I would read, which means he used to read to me. So it's about something that you feel very strongly about. It's about a habit that you or your family had in the past. And we have examples, very beautiful examples. So my father would take me fishing every weekend when I was young. I would. Can I say used to? Absolutely. I can also say my father used to take me fishing. But you feel strongly about about this. That's why you would romanticize it by using would instead of used to. Okay, if you see what I mean. My mother would help me with my homework. Yeah, past, beautiful past when mother used to help. That in this case you would use would instead of used to. But if you use used to, that's fine too. Okay, my math teacher at secondary school would always make fun of me because I wasn't very good at math. See, this is bad. You feel strongly about it, but in the negative. Okay? This is basically what this part is about. Let's move on. Is it three already? Is it three? Okay, can we take a 5 minute break? Let me check if it's three. Is it three in my end? No, we still have. Okay, let's take a 5 minute break and come back, okay? Only 5 minutes, huh? Make it short and sweet, everyone. Yeah, when I come back, everyone. Hello. Hello, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm back. Okay. Hi, Hannah. How are you? How is everyone? Muhammad Ahmed Sulaiman is saying, Doctor, can I leave because I have another class? So it's okay, Muhammad. Yalla. See you next week, inshallah, on Sunday. Okay. Thank you, Muhammad. Muhammad Sulaiman. Such a nice guy. Okay. You're welcome. Bye bye. Okay. Let's go back to I remember before I left, Dima was asking a question. She obviously had issues with wood. Um, I'm not going to say much. I would only say that wood can be used instead of used to, and it has some emotional baggage to it, if you like. If you're engaged in talking about the past, the happy old days when you used to go to your perhaps grandparents' house and your grandparents would give you a present. See, I'm starting to tell things that were happening in the past, and somehow they are not there yet anymore. I'm sorry. So your grandmother would cook you delicious meals. Your grandfather would take you to the grocery store. And would. See, it's about the happy old days. Correspondingly, it can be also about bad experiences. It could You would engage in storytelling about that bad teacher back at school who would pick up on you and perhaps embarrass you. He would embarrass you. He would pick up on you. He pick on. He would do this and he would do that. See, this is basically what would mean or means here. Okay, let's move somewhere else. Note, I don't. What note example? What note example? I don't remember note examples. Yeah, this is what we're talking about, yeah, Dima. Okay, sorry. So, what else? Let me see if we have exercises that we can do so that we can reinforce. So, talking about past, this is 146, mind you. Talking about past habits and situations, this is H. Which sentences can have would instead of used to? Rewrite those sentences. Okay, I would like you to go and read these sentences. This is H, and tell me which of them you think uh, um, would require would instead of used to. Yalla. Okay, H. I'll give you. We have 10 sentences. I'll give you perhaps 3 minutes. Yalla, go ahead. Magid is saying, what should I read? Go to page 146, exercise H. Okay. Exercise H is about past habits and situations. He wants you to tell him which of these sentences would uh, be more perhaps suitable if we use would with them. So which sentences can have would instead of used to? Did you notice that we don't use negative with would if it means used to? Used to can be put in the negative by saying didn't used to, but we don't have wouldn't. Okay, we only have would if we talk about past habits. This is a clue that I'm giving you. Thank you, me. How about that? What about attend? What do you want from attendance, ya Said? Done? Okay. The rest? Yeah, okay. But let's do it. So when I was young, I used to live near the house, near the sea. Of course, you wouldn't use would. I would live near the sea. It doesn't work, right? So, we're going to keep it as is. I mean, number one, when I was young, I used to live near the sea. Okay. There is no, yani, it doesn't involve any emotions, obviously. My parents were at work all day, so my grandparents used to look after me. I don't see that we're engaging in a bit of memory sharing or stuff. In this way, you would keep used to, yeah, Ahmed. Perhaps the third example would help. We used to have very long holidays from school in the summer. We used to, is fine. I used to go to the beach every day. That's fine. My grandparents used to take me. My grandparents would take me, right? I used to have ice creams, lots of ice creams. I would, and I used to are fine. For I would go to the beach every day, or I used to go to the beach every day. Yeah, at the end of the class, yes, I eat. Okay, so let's go to six. I used to have ice creams. I used to have ice creams. That's fine. I didn't used to go swimming. Remember, we said that we don't use wouldn't. That's why we're going to keep it as is. The sea used to be cold. You wouldn't say the sea would be cold. No, the sea used to be cold. We used to stay there all day. You can say we would stay there all day. I didn't used to get sunburn. It will stay the same because it's negative. I didn't used to get sunburn. So as you can see, the difference is very slight. And even if you use used to in places where would is more suitable, you will be understood, and that's fine. It's a very individualistic kind of thing. Okay, so let's move to another issue, which is the difference between would and had. how can I determine whether the apostrophe D stands for had or would? Sometimes we say I'd like, I'd traveled, right? I'd um, cook a meal every day in the past. So how can I know that the apostrophe D stands for would or had? It's very simple. You go to the word that comes after the apostrophe D and see if its base form, if it's a verb in the infinitive without to, that would be would. If it's past participle, that would be had. Okay? Can we go to the exercises right away? Yes, let's go to them and see. Again, if the apostrophe D stands for would, you would need a verb in the base form, minus 2, of course. If stands for had, you need past participle. Where do we have? Do we have an exercise for that? Yes. If you go all the way uh, to the last exercise on page 146. Okay. Understanding apostrophe D. Can you do that? I'll give you a minute. It's a conversation, I think, where we're using either would or had, depending on what comes after it. I'll give you 2 minutes for that. Again, it's 146, the last exercise on that page. Can we finish them all, please, before we answer, Ahmed? Okay. So let's take them one at a time. So I went to see the manager, but he'd gone home. So obviously he'd here the apostrophe D stands for had because gone is the past participle. Okay. I'd like some tea. I'd like. So it's would you. In this case, you have would because it's followed by like, which is a verb in the base form. She'd been to Egypt before, so had simply because been is the past participle. Okay. For they'd always help me if I asked. Okay. يبقى would. Wait a minute, wait. Don't yeah, I mean kind of if I'm in 4, I expect only 4. If I'm in 5, I expect only 5. So again, they'd always help me if I asked. In this case, it's help. If help is base form, so apostrophe D is would. Let's move to 5. Had driven all night without a break. So it's driven past participle. That's why you need had. Okay, let's move to 6. Would prefer to stay in a hotel. Would because it's followed by prefer, which is base form, right? Very good. 777. It's strange. I never realized that you were Canadian. So no. 7 is had. Had. I had never. Yeah, that's good. I had never realized that you were Canadian. That's basically it. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. Let's move somewhere else. Because it's followed by the verb in the base form, yeah, ابتهال. Base form means what? Let me explain it to her. These are the three forms of a verb. You have go, you have went, and you have gone. If I say the base form, I mean go. If I say past, I mean went. If I say past participle, I would mean gone. Okay, clear? Okay, what we have here, this part is very interesting, and you're going to need it in the upcoming exams. I'm not going to specify more. This part is about doing research, writing research. Remember that you now, no, not you, I'm sorry, not you. It's the other branches, because we have already done our quizzes. Okay, right. This part is, this part applies to all. If you're submitting a TMA or something, you know what a TMA is by now. I explained it. It's the acronym for tutor marked assignment. So, and TMAs are about writing and doing research. You know what research is. If I ask you about something and I ask you to do research, I mean that you go to the internet, you go to the books and open them and look things up, understand something, study something. This is all called research. Okay. What is trendy and new is the idea of internet research. People do a lot of research on the internet. Okay. And people are mistakenly and wrongly under the impression that they can take stuff from the internet and they can put them in exams and TMAs, يعني, without acknowledgement, without saying that they have taken it from this or that source. This is called plagiarism. I'm sure you're familiar with the word plagiarism. Plagiarism means that you take stuff from outside sources, from books or from the internet, and you use them. And when we ask you about them, you say, these are ours. This is mine. This is my own words. And you look at the language, it's perfect. And you keep asking people, remember you scored 2 or 3 in the first quiz. How come you're writing like this? You cannot have developed that that quickly and that fast. And they keep saying, no, it's ours. Anyway, the idea is that you need to avoid plagiarism. You need to avoid taking stuff from other people without acknowledging, without saying from where you got that. And also the amount of taking shouldn't be that big. You take like 5% of something, but I wouldn't see a whole essay written by somebody else, written by a newspaper, for example, or a website, and then you bring it and I am supposed to mark it for you or for the one who wrote it, right? Copying the work of others like ibtihal is a no. Why would people try to use other people's work without acknowledgement? Because they don't know how to do research. Perhaps if we train them, perhaps if we teach them how to do research, they are going to they wouldn't go and ask other people to write their papers, or they wouldn't copy and paste. Okay, but that's why I'm saying this part is very interesting, because it can help you a great deal when you write your own pieces of research, whether these are TMAs or even the quizzes that you have written in Quiz 2. You when we go, the deadline was yesterday, the submission deadline, and your teachers are marking your quizzes as we speak, and they are going to apply the rules of the university when it comes to copying and pasting. If you're copying and pasting, so you lose marks. If it's your own genuine and original work and you have issues, that's fine. We're all learning, right? Anyway, let's do it. Let's see how to do research so that you can benefit from it, and you can apply the tips that you're going to see here in future research. Okay, let's go there. So how to do research. This is interesting. Before we do that, we have the article how to do research, and as you can see, there are red spots. Some of the words are in red. So I would like you to go through, I would like you to read the article. Okay, and obviously those red spots are going to kind of stop you. I would like you to keep reading, and after you have finished, we can edit this article. Editing means what? We spoke about editing, and we said that editing is part and parcel of writing. Writing is obviously not about writing essays and full stop. There is obviously more to writing than just writing. You also need to know how to proofread and edit. Proofreading and editing something. Proofreading means that you detect something for errors, and then you edit it, you write it again without the errors. And this is actually what we are going to do now. You're going to read the article, okay? And I would like you to edit it. Edit it means detect the errors. Okay, go ahead. I'll give you 3 minutes because I want you, I'll give you 3 minutes to edit, and then I'll give you another 3 minutes when you finish the first 3 minutes, and we can read it together and discuss the ideas in there. Yalla, go ahead. Now edit it. See which. I'm hopeful that you guys have the book handy with you. Okay, if you have the book, I would like you to open it in 147, on page 147, and cross out. You normally have 2 choices in every sentence. Cross out the wrong words. Yalla, go ahead. 3 minutes you have, everyone. This is 147. Yeah, Yeah, I'm not talking because I am leaving you with the article on page 147. What did I say? I said you're going to read the article and I would like you to edit and proofread. And what do I mean by proofreading and editing? It means that you detect the errors and cross it out. Okay? So this is what we're doing, 147, and I am giving you 3 minutes from now. Hello, are we done? Everyone? Okay, so Huda, Hanan, Thuraya, Ahmed, Sameh. Yes, okay. So let's get started. Okay, okay, let's take them one at a time, okay? So when you write assignments, you have to do research, which means reading. As a general rule, this is a general rule. Whenever you have to choose, wait. Whenever you have to choose between an adjective and an adverb after a verb, in most cases, an adverb is what you need. So that's why we're using widely. Again, if you have to choose, okay, if you have, yani similarly, actually, if you have to choose between an adjective and an adverb before a verb, you also use an adverb, as we're going to see. Let's look at it. Why? Because Like you know, I'm sure you know about that adverbs describe verbs. Whether the adverb is after in most cases or before in some cases. So again, when you write assignments, you have to do research, which means reading widely, right? So if you're choosing here between the adjective and the adverb, you would use widely, which is an adverb, right? Using a variety of source or sources. You know what variety means? It acts like many. If you're going to use sources with many, you would use and a lot of, right? With a lot of, you need plural, right? A variety of, a lot of sources, right? Okay, including nowadays the internet. It does not mean just checking out Wikipedia and it doesn't mean just checking out Wikipedia and quoting. Let me stop here. Why quoting? Because we have and whenever you have and you have a verb after, the verb after follows the verb that comes before and. And what is the verb that comes before and? Yeah, excellent. Like Huda is saying, checking. And checking has an ing, so the verb after and should follow checking. Checking is ing, so quoting is the right word. Okay? Is that clear? So when students did all their research in the library, it was easy to find sources. So if you have a noun, what do you need before a noun? You need an adjective. So authoritative or author is the adjective. Author is a noun, but you need an adjective, right? So authoritative or authoritative sources, right? Okay, because they could see the difference between a popular or popularity magazine and an academic. Okay, between what you popular, you need an adjective before a noun, Nadima. You need an adjective, popular. Between a popular magazine and an academic journal. So it's an. If you have an, you shouldn't have s, right? On the web, you need to check who the writer is, who he or she is writing for, and whether the article just provides an overview or detailed research. Is it going to be detailed or detailed? You need an adjective here. That's why it's detailed. Absolutely. Detailed. Very good. You need to validate or valid or facts. After to, you normally have a verb. No, you need to validate. Validate means check or double check. Ensure that something is correct. This is validation. So you need to validate all facts on the web because many writers of web articles are biased. You need ed. Remember ed for people, right? Biased means that they have bias. So what is bias? Bias means that they take sides. Take sides means that they are not fair or objective. Okay, so when you take sides, it means that you're not neutral. Okay, so biased writer is opposite neutral writer. A neutral writer is somebody who doesn't take sides, which is good. Okay, is that clear now? People who were asking about bias. Okay, good. And he's explaining it. Like, remember last time I told you something about the meaning of words. I told you last time that if you meet a word that you don't understand, just wait a minute and keep reading. Normally, if it's a difficult word, the writer knows that it's a difficult word. That's why he follows it with an explanation, which what he did here, right? If you keep reading, what does he say? So many writers of web articles are biased. And he explains it. What does he say about biased? He says in favor of or against their topic. They are either in favor or against. By the way, Yadima, bias does not mean that you're always against something. Bias can happen if you are in favor of something. So, okay, neutrality is about not taking sides. So if you take sides in favor or against something, it means that you're biased. Okay? Does it make sense, Yadima? You don't understand, you mean? Okay. What I am trying to say is a biased writer can work in both directions. He can be biased because he favors or he talks nicely about something. This is bias. Or he talks in a negative way about something. Okay, so bias is against neutrality, الحيادية. If you're biased, it means that you're taking sides in favor or against something. In scientific research, this is not good. Perhaps if you're giving an opinion, in this case, you're going to say that you like or you don't like something. But in scientific research, you need to be neutral and non-biased. Okay? Let's go on. Where? Okay. So again, he's explaining it. Yeah, about an idea or about someone. All the same, ya ibtihal. For example, people are often ethnocentric and think their own culture is always right. Spoke about ethnocentrality last time, and I am going to explain what it means. Remember when we spoke about centric? Centric means in the center, right? Focus. And ethno means races and cultures. So ethnocentric studies are studies where the race, whether you're African, Arab, American, Chinese, okay, where the race is at the center. This is what we mean by ethno. Ethno from ethnicity. Ethnicity means races. White, black, yellow, red, like in Europe and the United States for the most part, right? These are ethnicities, different ethnicities. Okay, so there are studies where ethnicities and races are at the center. This is called ethnocentric studies. Okay, so if you have an ethnocentric writer. This is a writer where he puts his own culture at the center. Okay, do I make sense? Okay, good. Okay, for example, people are often ethnocentric and think their own culture is always right. It's in the book. Don't you have the book, Ya Ola? Ethno. You know how to write ethno? Wait, let me write it down for her. Okay, good, good. She found it. She found it. Sometimes they state or are stating their bias. No. Sometimes, yeah, state. If we have adverbs of frequency like sometimes and often and always, you normally use the present simple. Okay, you don't use the progressive. You don't use verb to be ing. Okay. So sometimes they state their bias. They say clearly, in my opinion, or in my opinions, what do you think? In my opinion, Ola, thank you so much. In my opinion, okay, and then the rest. Sometimes, though, they are not so direct, but they use extremely or extreme. Yeah, because it's an adjective. It is followed by a noun. They use extreme words, particularly adjectives like stupid and disgusting or brilliant and delicious. You see? Remember Dima? Okay, so and I'm going back to Dima because I told her that it works both ways. So if you're biased, you can say stupid and disgusting. If you're against something, and if you are in favor of something, you say brilliant and delicious, and this is also bias. Okay. Sometimes they only imply or implies things. Imply, absolutely. They does not take S. What is the difference? There is obviously a difference between being direct. Direct means that you say things right, right away. You don't hide them. If you hide them and you make the statement suggestive, but you don't mention the thing directly, this is called implication. This is implying. You're giving symbols, but you don't say something directly. Okay? And he's explaining it. For those who don't know what imply means, he explains it. Okay? If only people wait. Readers in general, I'm talking about readers. In other words, you have to work out the opinion of the writer from the kind of evidence or evidences they give. Okay? So is it evidence or evidences? Is it evident? I'm asking you. Yeah, excellent. There is no such thing as evidences. Evidence is not countable, and it never has an S. So how can I make it plural? By saying pieces of evidence. But you never touch the word evidence. You don't add S. You don't use an before it. You don't say an evidence, and you don't say evidences. Okay, this reminds me of information, for example. You don't say informations. This is, of course, a no. This is wrong. And you don't say an information, right? These are non-count nouns. These are nouns that are not countable. You don't use an before them, and you don't use s after them. Is that clear? Clearo? Okay. So you must critically or critically evaluate any information you read on a website. Remember, yeah, excellent, like I told you. Okay, so what you have before an adverb, you have before a verb, you have an adjective, an adverb, and also after it. Yeah, that's interesting. Yes. Okay, where are we? Keep thinking. What does the writer think about this point? Or perhaps more importantly, what does the writer want me to think? If the writer gives evidence in support or in supporting of a particular point of view, you may need to find evidence against in another article. In no, you if you're going to use ing, you don't need of. It should have been written gives evidence in supporting a particular point of view. But if you have of, you're going to use support. Yes. In support of a particular point of view. Clearo? What time? Wait to? No, we still have time. Good. Okay. So what now? You see how nice this article is? But perhaps the errors stood in the way and you couldn't understand it properly. Which I don't understand. It's not a general rule, yeah, uh, yeah, Dima. What's the in like I said, gives evidence in support of. That if you're going to use in supporting, you need to drop the of. Okay. Uh, okay. So what do I want you to do now? I would like now that you have corrected the errors, I would like you to read the article again. This time around, you're reading it for understanding. Okay, I'll give you 3 minutes, perhaps 4 minutes, because it's long, because it's heavy-handed, and it's because it's full of very useful ideas. Yalla, go ahead. I would like you to read it one more time without the errors. You guys have 4 minutes. Okay? Say okay. Okay. Yalla. I am waiting. Read the article How to Do Research on page 147, the one that we have just edited. There were lots of errors and we edited it. Okay? Allah. Okay, Hanan. Yes, yes. See you on Sunday, inshallah. If you can make it on Sunday, we're meeting on Sunday at 2 p.m., inshallah. Allah, have a nice weekend, Hanan. Who told you, Rawan? And it's one university. They haven't cancelled nothing. Huh? The midterm is going to take for EL112 and for EL111 is going to be a take-home exam. Okay? When you come next week on Sunday, I'll give you the structure. I'll tell you about the structure of the exam. Okay? It's a take-home exam. They haven't cancelled the exams. Yeah, you can open the book. Actually, some of the questions are going to be from the book. So this is doing research. Okay, I ask you a question and you go to the book, you read the article and then answer. See how nice that is? No, not writing. It's going to be we did together how to read research, right? And we did some editing. We detected errors. This is one of the questions, for example. You're going to have a comprehension passage. You read it and then answer the questions. And then you have, in the grammar part, you're going to have editing. Editing means that you're going to have a text like this one, how to do research, for example. And then you detect the errors and then write the text again in a corrected way. Okay? And then in the vocab area, we're going to refer you to the book, certain articles, and we're going to tell you go to the article, read it, and then answer the questions. Insha'Allah, Ali. No, we don't have khiyarat in the midterm. But it's an exam that you're doing at home, ya Amna. It's all about doing research. Doing research means what? This is actually part of the exam. Like any exam, you're going to have comprehension passage and then questions. And then the second part is going to be a text that has errors. You're going to correct the errors, okay? And then write it again in a corrected way. No. Anyway, we're not done, ya Jama'ah. We're not done yet. I'll give details later, but at least now you have an idea on what to expect. I am the GCC, Ibtihal. I am the GCC for EL112, the General Course Coordinator. Okay. Yes, inshallah. 24 hours. Yeah, you'll be given that. Yes, inshallah. Anyway, you have taken us from whatever we were doing. What time is it? Is it 4 already? 4. No, not today. Okay. So what I want you to do for next time, I would like you to read how to do research. I said this is very important because it's going to help you a great deal in the upcoming TMAs if you have TMAs to do. Okay. So you need to read it over and over again. And then when we meet again on Sunday, inshallah, we're going to talk more about it. We'll have it posted on the LMS, inshallah. You will have lots of them on the LMS already. And you also have the video recordings, ya Jama'ah. You have the video recordings are very valuable. Okay, the ones that we're putting on YouTube, you now have them on the LMS. Did you check the LMS yesterday? Have you seen all the videos? Remember, I have provided all the links to the videos. All you need to do is to press on the skill or on the theme that you want. Okay, use them. Try to use them. They are amazing. I watch them before I come to class. I learn from them. No, the quiz will be marked by your original teacher. Okay, the teacher that was with you in class. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to stop on this note and with this item. But before I go, I would like to take attendance. Let me look on who is here. Al-Anud. Al-Anud what? Al-Anud. Hana. Hana what? Okay, I'm taking attendance, yeah, Saeed. Just, I mean, you've been asking about attendance for the past 2 hours. Why is that? Attending and understanding is more important, yeah, Saeed, than just asking about attendance. Anud Muhammad, I am talking and everybody can hear me another. Okay. Absolutely okay, Al Anud. You're more than welcome, no problem. أهلا بيكي always. عادي عادي يا عيشة, no problem. Okay, so we have Al Anud Al Qahtani. Okay, Abdullah. Everyone, yeah, like I said, you attend my class or any other class. Don't worry about attendance. I'm telling you, it's okay. Just attend. Okay? Okay. I'm just mentioning your names if you don't mind. Okay. So again, Al-Anud, Hana, Muhammad, I don't know Muhammad whom, Abdul Aziz, Madani, Abdullah Al-Afif, okay, Ahmad, I don't know Ahmad whom, Ahmad Samih, Aisha, Khalid, Ala, I don't know Ala whom, Ali Yusuf, Ali, I don't know Ali whom, Al-Walid whom, Amna what, Al-Anud, already we know Al-Anud, we know who Al-Anud is, Al-Qahtani, Dima, Fatma Quwaisi, I'm hopeful that I'm pronouncing the name correctly, Haya Mustafa, Huda Gaber, Ibtihal, Muhammad Mahmoud Khalifa, yes, Muhammad Izzat, Muhammad Ali Al-Kaf, Nada Sudan, Ula, رهف العطاس، رند البكري، رنيم المرديني I think، روان خليل، سعيد عمر هبري excuse me. And then صفا، سمية، ثريا، آلاء or علاء، who else؟ سلطان AJ، سمية، ثريا. Who else do we have? Magid. Yeah, this is basically, these are all the people that we have today. Okay. علي الغمدي، الوليد عبد الملك. Okay. آلاء. Yes. Okay. أحمد بن عفيف. Yes. أمنة المظلوم. Yes, that's fine. Okay, like I said, this would be the end of the class today. I'll meet you on Sunday, inshallah. Yes, Rand al-Bakri, I did. Thank you so much for your time, and have